Good evening, beautiful Black people. This is your sister and host, Sister Saleema, and I have my beautiful, illustrious host with me today, Sister Helena. Um, we have an interesting topic this evening, and I am very excited about it. And the title is "How Are We, the Sisters, Instrumental in the Growth of the Black Community?" And this is important to me. This is important to having a nation. This is important to having a prosperous community.
Yes.
How are we instrumental in the growth of our community or our nation? So I did some soul searching. I asked some questions. I did a little bit of research, and it appears that we are instrumental in many ways. It appears that we are instrumental in the day-to-day process of our community, the day-to-day life of our family, of our nation, and that is a broad stroke statement. Of course, um, we rear our children. The most, most of us, we take care of the home. We take care of our spouses. We are the people who grow our nations. We are the people who give birth to the nation.
That's
So
right.
there's a lot of things that we that are on our shoulders, and the majority of the women that I know, um, they they take that responsibility seriously. They they enjoy that responsibility. I don't know many black women who don't want to do the things that are necessary to build up our community and our nations. How do you feel about that, sis?
I completely agree. Well, hello, Saleema. Hello,
Hello.
everybody. Hello. Thank you. I completely agree. And just the point that you just made, Black women in general, I said, I'm just thinking about family members, and there is an absolute genuine love for being mothers, sisters, aunts, cousins, having that role, being helping to provide. I'm not just talking about economics, but I mean culturally, and provide love all around, being supportive, as well as supporting, being supportive as well as being supported. Excuse me,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it is a an honor. Honestly, most of the time that I hear folks in my family talk about it, might not say the word honor, but just you can just genuinely see it's like, this is my role, and I love it. I
Absolutely.
completely agree. Completely agree.
Um, it's funny to me that um, we do have some sisters who don't feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Um, I do have a family member who she does not want to she had children and she did not want to rear these children. She
Uh,
and it's just sad, but so I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not something that doesn't happen.
right.
I wouldn't
Right.
sit here and lie to someone and say um, there are not some people some sisters out here that just don't want that responsibility. But for the most part, um, the majority of us, we love being part of our community. We love being part of the Black community.
Hmm.
We love doing the things that that make us who we are.
That's right.
I'm in love with my people. So I tend to go on the side of the positive when I speak about Black people.
Yes. Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
well, let me
like
just say, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, I said I'm happy that within my family, I experienced the positive when we were talking about women in having children and being a significant part of their development. But I've definitely come across women and the stuff you see in the news too. I mean, and what Darius says, nothing is 100%. Absolutely. Peace to you, Asiri, too. Hello, Darius. That yeah, nothing's 100%. We got folks who are not happy with having children. I think they want to continue to have playtime, and not have that responsibility. But I'm happy to say within my family that not that anybody that I know of that hasn't been the case. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when I came across like I stated, the different like looking at the different topics, that when I Googled this particular this particular topic, I
Mhm.
came across many things were absolutely positive. You know, the majority of it was positive. The majority of it was just teaching us or showing the world, because you know, you Google is out to the world,
Yeah.
that we do enjoy taking care of our families. And um as a person who doesn't have any physical children, um I had a question asked to me at work for my new position. They want to give you like an introduction, and they said, just tell us some things about yourself. And I said,
Mhm.
well, I have 20 plus nieces and nephews. And um, when I sent the email to my new manager, he IM'd me and was like, "Was that a typo?" And I'm like, "No, it's not a typo. I do have my niece and I counted it today. It's 25 of them.
Wow. Wow.
So, and every last one of them are so important to me. And I did not realize how instrumental I was in their growth and development.
Mm,
I just thought I was doing what I was supposed to do as an aunt.
mhm.
Um, I didn't realize how instrumental I was in their development until they started to get older.
Yeah.
Um, I remember when my nephew, he graduated from high school, which was a struggle. Like, this is one of the brightest people I know, and we would go to school, and he was living with me at the time. He would go to school, and we would go to the parent teacher conference, and they would say Kamal would be an A+ student if he would hand in his homework. And I look at him and I'm like,
Mm.
I know you're doing it. He goes and he goes in his book bag and he's like pulling out homework for each teacher. So the homework is just in the
Oh
bag.
my gosh.
He just
Didn't turn it
wasn't
in.
handing it in.
Oh.
So, and I'm looking at him like, what is, and the teacher is like, so if he would turn in all of his homework, he would go from having a 75 to a 90. So
Wow.
this kid hears this, so he's pulling the homework out the bag. Every
Wow.
single homework
Wow.
for the entire semester is in his book bag. So I just thought it was like, this kid is he's gonna be the death of me. He's gonna drive me crazy. And then I remember that was the year he was supposed to graduate. And I remember at graduation, they gave the kids, they told the kids, you'll get up and you'll take a rose, and you'll have, they has whatever amount of roses. And whoever's in the audience that helped you get to the point that you were at, you're to give them a rose.
Oh, nice.
So of course I thought his
Mm.
mom was going to get one. My mom was going to get one. I'm in the back recording, and he gives one to his mom. He gives one to my mom. He comes out the row, and I'm thinking he's going to go back up, and he starts walking towards me. And I'm
Wow.
like, who's back here? Where is he going? And, and so the video was hilarious because I said, well, and I'm saying this out loud, like, where is he going? And I start crying, and I'm like, don't come over here. Don't come.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
I just didn't expect it. I thought I was just
yeah,
doing what I was
yeah.
supposed to do as an aunt. And I think that that's
Fantastic.
what most Black people do,
Yeah.
most women do, Black women do, is we just step into the role that is in front of us
Mhm.
because we have to, um, that's just what we have to do. We don't question it. I never ask the question as to, why these people come to me and they ask me questions that is none of my business. Like, I knew my nephew was going to marry his wife when he was 14 years old because he
Oh.
came to me and he asked me if I thought that that was a possibility. And they now are married. They've been married for 11 years. They have two beautiful children. They are thriving, you
Mhm.
know. And
Mhm.
I remember at the wedding reception, he said, you know, my aunt told me when I was 14 years old that if I wanted to marry my wife, I could marry her. And I'm thinking, I'm just talking to this kid and I'm just
Yeah,
telling him,
not realizing
but these
the
things are
impact.
sticking, right?
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
sticking,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
So we do what we have to do because that's
Absolutely.
just what we're supposed to do. I
Mhm.
didn't notice that, and I remember my niece, my oldest niece, she came to me one day and she said, "What happened?" And I'm like, just a broad question. You just walk up to somebody and say, "What happened?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said she remember when she was a kid. I used to wear makeup. I used to dress, and you know, my hair was always done, and those are things that she remembered. And she remembered when her mom allowed her to start wearing makeup.
Mhm.
That she said, you know, I want to be like my aunt. I want to, you know, present myself in a certain way. And I was taking care of my mom, so it was nothing like my personal upkeep. You know, of course, I was clean, I was presentable, but I was not
Mhm.
going the extra mile to take care of myself. And I said, wow, you know, that's this girl noticed that.
She
I think
remembered.
she may have been
Mhm.
in high school, you know, 16 or 17 years old when she asked me the question.
Mhm.
um so my role has been to help grow my family, you know. um and these people are in their 30s now, and they're still talking about conversations we had when they were 7 8 years old.
Yeah. The
So
impact. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
this is why, and I it's not a conscious thing, but
Mhm.
you're paying attention to what you're saying to these people. And I always wanted to present myself in a way where my nieces and nephews will be proud of me, because you know I didn't never wanted to do or say anything that would make them have a negative thought about me. And I'm sure that I
Right.
have, over the last 30 plus years, done something that they were like, well, dang, this is what you want to do.
You're a
But it
human
was
being.
not exactly because I
Yeah.
am human. But
Right.
for the vast, you know, many years of their lives, it was all positive.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that was a conscious effort from me to make sure that I'm showing them the best part of who I was, so that they could be the best part of who they are, you know. And that was my role as um, a part of my community. You know, I there are children who come to me and they're like, you know, thank you. And my niece actually came and she has to do community service for a school, and her community service this weekend was she came and she cleaned my patio for me.
Huh.
And I was like, wow, like she was out, she had the broom, she you know, I because of my business, I get boxes all the time. And she took my boxes to the trash, something that I typically do on a Saturday morning. But she said, you know, she called me yesterday and she said, don't do anything. I'm gonna come clean the patio for you. She
Ah.
swept outside, you know. So it's now to the point where they're starting to take care of me. It's kind of
Mhm.
like the dynamics have
Yeah.
changed,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
that is what a community is. It's
Yes.
where you are making sure that the persons in your community are taken care of in what capacity you can.
That's right.
So that's what I came what that's what came to me in all of my research. We basically nurture, we give we give wisdom, we give information. um my nephew came to me, and I'm really really honored with the questions that they've asked me over the last, you know, 20 plus years.
Mhm.
um when he was ready to be sexually active, he came to me. He has a mother and a father. Like, it's not like these he has no parents, or
Right. Right.
you know, he doesn't have older cousins or other males around him that he could have talked to. But he came to me, and at first, in my mind was ready to explode. Like, why are you telling me these things? Like, the things that they tell me, I'm just
Trust.
like, what
Yeah.
the heck? Why would you tell me?
Oh, Saleema?
Of?
Okay.
They felt safe to come to me and tell me
Yes,
these things.
that trust.
And it would have been, I would have been a horrible person if I had not taken that trust and given them the right information.
Mhm.
you know so I think that that's our role in building our community, building our nation. We do what needs to be done, whatever that may be. you
Absolutely.
know
And it
um
and a
so
genuine love.
what do you think our role is as Black women in our community?
To me, it's, and not to, not to try to be too simplistic, but everything. I think we have to be, there as nurturers, supportive. I saw something where they describe it as a triple role of African women. I say that's, for me, for all African women, is reproductive, productive, community management. It's like everything we need to be. Okay, there we go.
Sit.
It said the host is mute. Now it's unmuted. I couldn't unmute. It said you had muted me. Uh-oh. All right. Well, okay. Hopefully we'll get Saleema back. But I'll just say that, to me, there we go. Saleema, you're with us.
Hey,
Can you
I'm
hear me?
having that slow thing again. I'm going to be right back in one
Okay.
moment.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. We'll get you back. I'll just say that, to me, that the role, like the heading, the what is the sister's role on the continent, and I was thinking in that direction, and to me, it's everything. Being there for family. If you're the mother, daughter, sister, cousin, aunt, whatever role, being there for the family, to continue, to support and, actively engage in traditions, for the family, not just immediate family, but, extended family and also community. Having strong families, does nothing but, to me, do, does something, that, is 100% positive for the community. Having strong families. Also, I was thinking about, when Salima gets back. I guess we'll expand on it some more. The religious and spiritual guiders. No matter if you have a structured religion, or if you just, just a general, and I put in quotes, spiritual. There's something about, sisters in that role that's, critical, especially bringing up children and being, some of the go-to people for questions on, religious guidance and spiritual guidance. Um, Also, I think with community management, the unofficial roles, that sisters play with, being, for instance, with, children within the community, if you're not related to them, you have a role as a leader, um, someone who can guide them, someone who's responsible, as well as, the brothers, obviously, but with the sisters, the nurturing and the caring for, the children in general, and also for our elderly, as caretakers, and, having a role that helps everyone within the community. I think that's something that is obviously happening on the continent as well as the diaspora, and something that, for this topic, what is the sisters' role on the continent? It would be to continue that and to expand that, because with, colonialism, that's been severely damaged, with the folks outside of the community, outside of, our people who've taken land, caused, disruption in village life. Um, it's important that we establish community, and the sister's role is to be right there with the brothers to do that. Hey, Saleema, you back with us?
Hey, I'm
Hey,
back.
hey,
Yeah, I
all
don't.
right, all right.
Yes, thank you so much
Good deal.
for being there for me.
No problem,
That's,
no problem.
okay, what did I miss?
Yeah, well, I was just going over what I thought with the sisters' role on the continent. And I was just, basically saying that I think what's happening on the continent as well as the diaspora needs to be to continue with us being supportive, continuing tradition, expanding, so we can progress and continue to progress into the futures that we need to do that right there with the brothers, be hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, helping to continue that. And we need to have controls over our community because of the situation with the colonialism, again, affecting how they affected our folks on the continent as well as in the diaspora, has been, to basically break up and disrupt many of the traditions. There's not like there's nothing happening. There's not like we don't have traditions, but the way we would progress if we didn't have that interruption, I
Hmm.
think is something that needs to be focused on. We can do that. The sisters on the continent, along with the brothers, is to work hand in hand to continue on, because I don't think it can happen with one being, we focus on one and not the others. Excuse me. Only the brothers can do this and only the sisters can do that. I think there needs to be much more of a, okay, we, us, not the divide
Right, right.
part of
See,
it.
and I agree with that.
Hmm.
And what we have to look at, and just going off of your point, when before we had the interaction of white people, we had order. Sisters did one thing, brothers did another thing, and we
Hmm.
supported one another in what we did.
It's key to
Okay.
support. Absolutely.
Right, exactly. So, and we have been told that supporting and, I'm going to use that word again, being submissive
Hmm.
to your mate is a bad thing. And that is because the people who were giving us this information, their male counterparts, they're savages. They don't know how to take power and use it in the right way, or take control and use it in the right way, to have someone submit to them and not want to hurt them with that
Right.
submission.
Bingo.
So we are two
Bingo.
different people. We're two
Yeah.
different, completely different people. Even in our physical makeup, we're completely different people. Our organs are in different places. So we're trying to conform to the thought process of a different species from us. Excuse me. Meaning, let's say a dog could talk, and right, exactly. Let a dog can talk, and the dog says, "This is the way I treat my female dogs." Would you take that and really go and say, "Well, let me go and treat my woman that way"? Is that what you would do? You absolutely would not.
Mhm.
So we have to take responsibility for the relationships that we have, and we have to. This is the way I treat my brother and my sister. This is the way I treat my children. This is the way I run my household. This is the way I teach my children. This is the way I teach my people. And we just have to really, really look at the relationship that we have with our counterparts, and be real with ourselves. Is that the relationship that we should have with them?
That's right.
you
Assess it.
know
Absolutely.
right. And that's such a big thing, that
Yeah.
we have gone so far away from self-assessment,
Yeah.
you at taking accountability for the role that you play in any negative interaction that you have with another person. you know
It's a
and
great
because
point.
sometimes we might be wrong. And if
Right.
you
Right.
cannot say, I wronged you, I did something wrong, then you are not mature enough to be in
That's
a
right.
relationship.
That's right.
You are not mature enough to run anything, you know? So I think that our roles are to also be a soft hand to our brothers, because they are so beat up and battered when they're out in this world. They really don't want to come home to the person that's supposed to love and support
We're gonna
them and
get beat up more.
beat up more,
Yeah.
you know?
Completely agree.
So, yes, our role is diverse. Our role is, there's so many different things that we do, but on the other hand, there's so many different things that the man has to do. He has to be a
Hmm.
supporter, a provider, a protector. There's so many different. He has to take all of the brunt of all of the negative things,
Abuse. Yeah.
the
Yes.
abuse,
Yes.
and come home and be abused even further. So I think that, and this I think that a lot of people um, just have the wrong thought process on having a mate, or even just. I mean, we're going to talk about it, Nate, for a nation. If
Hmm.
you're thinking that you are being used in just doing your role and you're trying to build a nation, then you have to reassess whether or not you want to be in that nation, because you should be willing to do what needs to be done, as long as it's healthy, as long as it's something that's not hurting you. You should be able to stand up and say, this is my nation. I'm going to do this for my nation, you know. And as sisters, we tend to take the brunt of the emotional part of everything, you know. um our brothers are told they shouldn't show their emotion,
All
so
right.
they have
Yeah.
learned not to do that,
Right.
you know.
That's being manly is never showing. It's never showing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then there's the extreme where, I guess in our society, say in the US, sometimes it's the opposite. Like you got to show everything and you got to be extremely emotional and act out if anybody sneezes in your direction. And sometimes you get that opposite expectation thrown out there for you. And I think for our people especially, because our community is focused on a lot,
Mm-hmm.
is that once we like the focus of our group, the BAIO, the Land Infrastructure Nationhood, is when we are able to have that, or have something close to that, basically break off and have us focus on us, without having everybody else's opinion um, involved in what we do, like we do here all the time. Um,
Exactly.
I think that growth is going to be monumental. Talking about with the sisters and brothers, and just how we grow as as families and as community, as a nation. It's critical to not always have somebody else's opinions, desires, always in the mix. Don't need that. We can do our thing without constantly having to ask, or not even ask, have it forced on us, somebody else's opinion on us. And it affects everything, and it affects, like with this topic, our role, with the sisters role, having somebody say,
Mm-hmm.
well, in this country, you all, this is what's expected of you all, or somebody else is saying this is what women should do. Well, that's what you all and maybe we agree on some things, which is fine, but you're not going to drive this train. We are.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We have to take control of how we process everything that we do,
Yes.
with our nation. It's our nation. So we're gonna pick and choose some, because there's good in every, all of the nations that we've seen historically. There is
Hmm.
some good
Hmm.
in every one of them. And
Yes.
the good thing about building your own nation is that you could cherry pick which ones you want to use and which ones you don't want to use,
That's right.
and
That's
it is
right.
up to us to decide what that is. No one else's opinion matters on what we do and how we do it. If you are not part of the BAIO, then unfortunately you have no say. Not even unfortunately, you just don't have a say.
Yeah.
You know, hey, peace, brothers and sisters.
Oh,
I see we got
yes.
a brother from Brooklyn. Hey, Brooklyn in the
There
house.
you go. From Brooklyn to
Yes,
love. And see, a series said
absolutely,
relationships provide us a good reflection. We get accountability, respect, responsibility, kindness.
absolutely,
Beautifully said. Peace
absolutely.
and DR to you too.
We and I really think that these types of conversations are conversations that really are not being had in um, a genuine way.
Hmm.
You know, because most people are trying to appeal to the masses, and that's one thing that we don't do here. We're not gonna sit there and try and make people feel good. That's not our goal. Nation building is not easy. It's
Right.
not fun for some. It's gonna be uncomfortable for some people, and we're gonna say what needs to be said. And our role as sisters um, in nation building, in supporting a community, in raising families, in being in a happy, healthy, committed relationship with our brothers, we're going to have to deal with those tough questions. We're going to have to say this is what we are going to do, and this is what we just don't have the capacity to do.
Hmm.
And I think that that's something that in building nationhood, in building a black community, um, there's always some type of negative thought process but behind whether or not the sister is going to be heard, whether or not the sister is going to take on a role other than just a health mate or just someone that's just in the house. And we are sisters that are here to tell you that we got more inside of us than that.
That's right.
It's more to us than just rearing children and cleaning the house and taking care of the house. um, the majority of the sisters that I know are very intelligent.
Same here.
um, we're business
Same here.
owners. we
Yeah.
are we are doing commerce worldwide, so it's not like we're just sitting around waiting for our husbands or our brothers or whomever to take care of us. That's just not who we are. And we've never been those people. We conform to the circumstances that were put in front of us,
That's right.
but we don't have to conform anymore
Right.
because we are building a nation. And in building a nation, we get to decide what we can and can't do,
Right.
what we want to do and what we don't want to do.
And we should have all bases covered. There's somebody, if something we can't do or don't want to do, there's somebody who will be able to fill in. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm gonna say it again.
Hmm.
When I find my husband, we're gonna have a conversation about him taking out the trash. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's nasty. It smells. Depending on what dinner was, it just does not. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to smell it in the trash. But right now, because I don't have a husband, is the trash piling up? No, the trash goes out every
Right.
day.
It gets done.
You want
That's right.
it, you understand what I'm saying? Like
Yep. Yep.
we have to stop. And that's that strong black woman syndrome. Sure, we have to do that sometimes, but once you are in a position where you don't have to do that anymore, you relinquish that to your mate, whatever
Hmm.
that might be.
Hmm.
I had to put together the caddy for my underneath my sink. I needed one. I bought it. I purchased it. I had to put it together. I had to figure it out and put it together. If I had a husband, he would have done that. But am I capable of doing it? Absolutely.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we do what we have to do because we are the mother of civilization. What makes you think we can't do it?
Get
But
it
should we?
done.
I don't want to do it.
Right.
There's certain things in
I
life
hear you.
that I
Absolutely.
don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm very vocal about it. I'm very vocal about the fact that I want this man to be able um to voice his opinion. I don't want a husband that I can boss around.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
not my desire,
Yeah.
and it goes into building a community. Do, do we want what we have right now? I don't want to see in my nation a brother and a sister standing in the corner screaming
Yeah.
obscenities at each
Yeah.
other. I
Yeah.
want to see them respect. I've seen people have knock down, drag out fights, arguments to the point where I was like, did they just say to each other? But it was a quiet, hushed conversation. And if I wasn't in earshot, I would not even known this couple was having a argument
Mm.
because they respected themselves enough to not have everybody in their business. It's all about what you want to portray and how you want your nation to grow. And those things happen, of course, because if we're human beings.
Right.
But
Right.
what
But
is your
just in
role?
general, right. Right.
Exactly. What is your
Right.
role? I don't. Those are things that I don't want to be brought to my nation.
Yeah.
And brothers probably don't even care about that. You know what I mean? They don't care if brother and sisters on the corner arguing, as long as brother's not, brutalizing that
Hitting
sister,
it.
beating her
Mm-hmm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would just walk right by it and be like, "Wow, that's unfortunate." Me personally, as a sister, I don't want to see it. Y'all can have a heated conversation, and it not look like it's something that we need to get involved in.
Right.
So in building a nation, there are certain things and it's the little details that we have to pay attention to.
Absolutely. I,
You
I
know,
I think that's a great point. And yeah, and again, that goes to us controlling our
hmm
environment, our situation
that's right.
without somebody else. And when you mentioned the strong black woman syndrome, it got me thinking because that's something it gets amplified when people are celebrating like it's doing the focus on women versus the focus on men, and for our people there needs to be the togetherness.
hmm
And when you've got that mentality comes from outside of our group constantly, the men this or the women this, it's constant, that separation. For
Right.
us to progress, we can't go down that route, we can't continue down that route, we just can't. What you're talking about a community, and it can't be just one gender. It's going to require togetherness. And I mean, I again say it again. I think when we have that enough of that separation where we can focus on our folks, we'll get it done. We will absolutely get it done. But involving everybody else under the sun in our business just is not helpful. Not helpful for a sister's role on the continent, or here in the U.S. or any place else. Our people need to have control of that. And if somebody else outside of the community wants to give their opinion, let it bounce off. If it happens to agree with us, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great. The whole point is that it's not going to be the driver of what we do and how we
Exactly.
feel. We got to have
That's
that.
the point.
Hmm.
That's definitely the point right there. Because we tend to care more about what the outsiders believe or think
Yep.
we should be doing than what we believe and think we should be doing.
Yeah.
Um, I see black people all the time saying, you don't want to look a certain way in front of white people, and white people don't care how they look in front of us. I'm gonna let you
Right.
know that. I'm just gonna say it. They absolutely don't care what you think about them.
That's right.
Okay. Um, exactly, Akira. That is definitely used
Yes.
to separate us and to make brothers think that we don't need them, and for sisters to believe that we don't need our brothers, and we absolutely do.
Yes.
It, it goes down to the simplest things. You cannot have a child without a man.
Yep.
Your species, your nation, the world cannot go on without a man and a woman. Even if it's a man just donating his sperm to the woman,
Hmm.
or vice versa,
Hmm.
you need a man in order to keep this world going. A man needs a woman in order to keep the world going. So that right there it shows us on the minute, the smallest scale, we need each other.
That's right.
We
That's
need
exactly
each
right.
other in order for anything to keep going. That's even with most plants. There's a male and a female. There, animals, male, female. Most, I mean, there's so many things that if you don't have your male, female counterpart, it will die out.
Mhm. That's critical. Yeah, and what a series said there, SBW, the single black woman
Yes,
narrative, is used to separate us. It's political.
it is
Absolutely
political.
true.
And
Absolutely.
it was made that way. It
Yes.
was made that way.
Yes.
You
To
know,
fracture
we
us.
to
Absolutely.
to completely destroy our
Yeah.
relationship.
Yep. Yep. And I said
You know.
something that's a positive will get it's something that could say, okay, single black, you're forced to do this, but you're caring for your children, you're doing the best you can, and that's good. If you're in that situation and you have children and you're providing, you're doing the best you can, that is good. But the people who want to fracture us take it, another step. Like that's
Yes.
that's the way it should be, because the hostility and egging
Mm-hmm.
it on, like, okay, so the next generation, that's what it should be, because you don't need this, or you don't need him, or you don't need that type of thing. It's like, no, this is a situation you're in. I don't expect you to lay down and just give up. You need to do the best you can. So that's the positive. But pushing past that, no, that's being extreme with it and trying to fracture us, and doing a job on our community. And some of us within the community have done a job, but being, if it's self-hatred or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, have had a negative impact. But yeah, definitely we got to have that pushback, got to recognize, just as you're saying, it's political. It is, and it is a way of negatively affecting our community. Like other folks can even if it's just a talking point, and say, oh, those people, there they are, this is how they are. Their
Right.
families are fractured, them, they, whatever is negative. The one group they can point to, I say they, I mean everybody else would love to point to, is our folks. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, don't allow that. Don't allow it.
Yeah. And I remember, um, I remember growing up and seeing the father in the household. I
Hmm.
mean, I remember. I don't. I have friends um, who our parents have been together 40, 50 years. And for some reason, that following generation, it was, the you don't need a man.
Yep. Yep.
And it's just something that was pushed upon us.
Yes.
It was definitely, like you said, it was definitely political.
Yeah.
It was definitely orchestrated. It was something that they sat down and they thought about and they implemented it, and it worked.
Yes, it did.
So
Yes, it
at this
did.
point, we have to look at ourselves, self reflection, and say we have to do a complete turnaround.
Hmm.
Everything that we've done in the last 40 to 50 years, we have to not do it anymore,
That's right.
because that is when the black community, the our we became disjointed. That's when black women started saying they don't need a man. That's one of the saddest statements I could ever hear a black woman say. That is, there are many, but that is definitely one of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's in my top five.
Excuse me.
Things that I really, really hate my sisters. I hate when I hear those words come out of their mouths.
Yeah.
Um, and don't get me wrong, these sisters may have been hurt by black men. They may have been mistreated by black men, but to go ahead and discount the whole group of
Right.
men because of
Exactly.
a few
Exactly.
men that you chose.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Then
A
they're like,
few
oh,
men.
everybody. It's like, no, not everybody.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So I just want us to know that our role in building a community, building a
Hmm.
nation, building a family, is to to be soft spoken, to be I don't understand. I want to be pretty. I want to be,
Yeah.
I want to do all those things. I want my nieces to look at me and say, "Wow, look at her with her little makeup on." I mean, and I was doing all of that for myself when I was in my early 20s,
Mhm.
um just because I wanted to be, I wanted to be attracted to myself. I
Right.
never really did those things for other people. Um if you ask my sister, um she had, this is a lifelong joke. um she asked my niece a couple of weeks ago. She said, so when you sleep, how do you see yourself when you sleep? And I knew exactly where she was going with it. um I knew exactly where she was going with it. When I used to put makeup on to sleep.
Ah,
And I would say, they would be like, why are you doing your hair and putting makeup on in your sleep? I said, I never know who I'm going to meet in my sleep, because I was a child, and that's how children think. But that was always the way that I thought.
mhm.
We have to, one, do things to make ourselves feel good. Because if we don't feel good, we are never going to want anyone else to feel good. It's never going to be a genuine um, interaction with another person. And that is a absolute requirement in nation building, that the sister is, as put together as she can be, as I'm losing the word right now, but we need to make sure that we are together,
Yeah.
that we are in a place where we can give guidance
Yes.
and nurture, and brothers, sisters, children, our crops, our businesses,
Yes.
everything. We nurture those things.
That's a great point, Celine. You're hitting on something. When I was had jotted down some notes of what I was thinking, just thinking about the topic, and I had self-care. And I said
Hmm.
self-care to not overburden ourselves, self-care. So we press for progress, learning, and positive view of self, and to take care of self. That's critical because, again, if you're not taking care of yourself, what are you going to be able to give to other people? And I've heard you say it, a few people, you put your mask on first and then
That's right.
like in the
That
air,
I
make
mean,
sure you can breathe.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If so, I remember when I realized, I was probably about 15 or 16 years old, getting on the plane, and I realized how important that
Yes.
statement was, to
Yes.
put your mask on first, because if you can't breathe, you can't help anyone else.
That's right.
So
That's right.
actually, that's so important that we take care of ourselves first.
Mhm.
Um, I know that with my mom, and I, we would watch the things that she would do for us, and we would say, we would to have conversations. There was five of us, about how strong she was, and how she was able to get up every morning and take a 2-hour train ride from Brooklyn to the Bronx, just to make sure that she made sure we had food on the table.
Mhm.
And that was huge. Like, we respected that so much. And we just have to make sure, but she didn't take care of herself.
Yeah.
She did not do things that were good for her.
Yeah.
She just made sure that she was able to continue doing for us.
Yeah.
And I really, really wish that my mom had an opportunity to just live her life,
Yeah.
but her life was taking care of us. And I respect her and love her so much for all that she's done for us.
Mhm.
And I think that I probably feel the way I feel because I had an amazing role model, that like I said, she did everything for everybody. My mother was in every type of group you could think of,
Yeah.
community, political, at work. She was in the union, everything that you could think of. My mother had her hand in. And I just sat there and looked at her like, how do you do this every day? Like, how is that possible that you go every single day without taking care of yourself at all?
Yeah.
You know? So that's something that we definitely have to do.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And so
Yeah,
and yeah, you seeing that, and you see you're inspired, and you're also concerned.
absolutely.
So yeah, so the takeaways are like, yes, to have someone who's involved, and this is my mom involved like that is
Hmm.
incredible and
It,
inspiring. And
my
also,
mother,
I want her to take care of herself.
exactly. Like, and it was times where we would, we would do as we got older, and we were able to. I remember the proudest time that I ever had was when she retired and we gave her a retirement party. I never thought my mom was going to retire.
Mm,
I never thought that she would retire because in her mind she had to still take care of us, even though we were adults, even though her grandchildren were almost adults, the
wow.
older
Mm,
ones. She was still doing everything that she could to take care of everybody.
mhm.
Even when she got sick, she was still taking care of everybody, and giving her that retirement party was so huge, and my sisters that didn't live in New York, I made sure that they got to New York, and she didn't know they were coming, and it was just, we have a picture that
Ah,
we took of that day, and that picture right there is like, okay, we were able to do something for her.
yeah, yeah.
We were able, that day meant so much to us because it was just about her. It had nothing to do with anybody else. It was only her day. So we have, and we that's what we have to do. That's a part of building a nation. She was awesome at what she did, but she definitely didn't take very good care of herself.
Mm, mm,
So that's very important.
mhm. Sure is. Sure is.
So it
Just,
would.
I'm sorry, Saleema, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just looking, seeing the comments, and say hello to, Mr. U.S. Freedman, Nationalist Party, Keith Watkins. Hello, brothers. And
Hey, brothers.
Asiri also had a comment. We have to look ahead 10 steps. It's not enough to reflect only. We need to strategize and put plans in place. And War
Absolutely,
Baby
sir.
said a quite balanced conversation here. Fantastic.
Thank you
Yeah, but
very
yes,
much.
yes, we need to, yeah, we have to look ahead 10 steps. Absolutely. Can't
I
just
think,
reflect.
and
Absolutely.
I think most of us do that. We
Mm-hmm.
probably
Mm-hmm.
don't notice it
Mm-hmm.
because we're not writing it down. We're not. It's not a conscious effort to do it. It's something that we just do because that's what we are programmed to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. I think that's an amazing thing to be able to foresee, you know, what needs to happen, where we need to go forward. Um, where I'm in the process of doing that right now, um, with our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I am laying the seeds for my nieces and nephews, even the younger ones. Um, we need you all to think about what businesses you want to have when you get of age. I need you to start focusing on what your next step is. If when I'm in the position to give you a chunk of money and say, this is your seed money to start your business, I need you to already know what that business is.
Yeah.
If I present the opportunity to you, I need you to have a business plan in place.
Mm-hmm.
So those are conversations that I'm actively having with my nieces and nephews because I need them to know that this is not something where I don't want them to have to work for anybody else. You know, of course, the older ones are already doing that
Right.
because that's where we are as a people. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the younger ones, I don't want. I have a nephew who's 18 years old, and this kid it has already started his own gaming company.
Yeah, I remember
He
you saying,
develops games.
yeah, yeah. It's
So
fantastic.
he's that guy is amazing. That guy is amazing. Right now he calls me his business partner and I'm like,
Ah,
yes. Yes.
I love it.
Right. But these are the things that we need to be imparting on the younger generations.
Hmm.
And I'm very proud um that he sees value in what I do, and the type of person that I am, that he would even say that I'm his business partner, because this is one, he's a genius. I'm not saying it because he's my nephew. This guy is a
Right, right.
genius. I think he created his first game when he was like 15 or 16 years old. And you can download these games and on the Apple Store, Google Play, and all those other platforms.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's not like it's something that's just in his computer. People
Yeah,
are
yeah.
actively playing his game.
Oh,
So, and I think he has like three of them at this point. So, um, that's right. We're planting seeds everywhere.
yes.
My 6-year-old niece has already told me that she's taking over my business when I can't run it anymore.
I love it.
And I think she was 3 when she said it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, that gets me. Let me. My yes, my youngest niece. When she was 2 years old, just what we as our, the elders, uh,
Hmm.
show them and introduce them to as young children. It's the standard, it's just the norm for them. And she was I think it was 2 years old, and she would get on my sister-in-law's iPhone, and I don't remember whatever the version was, the latest version at that point. And she would get on it, and she was always able to find YouTube and get to, I
Hmm.
forgot what the music. I was like, how is this child? And I mean, all of the kids are smart, but
Yeah.
she was able, I mean, she would, and so I was like, oh no, at first when she did, I was like, oh no, the baby accidentally got to YouTube. So I, got the phone and uh, cut it off, close YouTube or whatever, and hand it back to her just to look at and play with. And she would make it back on to YouTube each
Oh
and
yeah.
every time. I was cracking up and she's smiling. She knew exactly what she was doing. It's like, oh, this isn't an
Absolutely.
accident. This child knows what she's doing. Very smart.
Absolutely. That's very important that we make sure that
Hmm.
our children um have access to technology.
Yes.
My 8-year-old nephew is coding. You know,
That's
yeah,
good.
he is
Yes.
he's getting he has, or he already has like certificates for coding, and he can read code, he can write code, and I'm like,
It's
it
awesome.
looks like German to me. I don't know what the heck he's looking at, but and
He
he's sitting there
understands
trying to
it
explain it
perfectly.
to me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. But these are the things that we have to put in front of them. And my
Mhm.
sister made sure that her children had those things. She
That's
made
great.
sure that the 19-year-old is he has his own business. He buys and sells sneakers, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
grandfather told him, if you can make $1,000, I'll match your $1,000. This kid
Hello.
sold sneakers, and he made that $1,000 in less than 2 weeks. I watched him, and I was like, how is this even possible? But my sister, in part, like, she made sure that they knew that these were things that they're supposed to do. And mind you, he's going to school to be a doctor, but he knows that there are things that he has to do
Mhm. Mhm.
to make money, and that was the way of him doing it. And his dad, he had people reaching out to him from all over the world to buy the sneakers that he was selling. And I was
Wow.
like,
Go
wow.
ahead. Yeah. That's great.
I'm
That's
like,
great.
wow. you know but that's what we are supposed to be showing
Mhm. Mhm.
as as mothers, as
Yes.
aunts,
That's
as
right.
sisters.
That's right.
We're supposed to be showing them where they're supposed to go, and never trample on that child's dreams. Like,
Mhm.
because my nephew has wanted to code and make these video games as long as I can remember. And we're talking about a kid that
Wow.
graduated from high school a year early during the pandemic at home.
Yeah,
So,
that's
it,
awesome. That's a testament to
oh, listen,
everybody in your family being there for him and you, auntie.
those my babies.
That's awesome. Yeah,
All
I said
20.
our role is guiders,
Mm-hmm.
leaders, supporters. Um, I think all aspects.
Absolutely. That is definitely our role.
Yes.
That is our role. And I think that we should embrace it. I think that we should, know how important it is. I'm fortunate in that my nieces and nephews let me know every day, you know, that I have been instrumental in them being awesome people.
Hmm. It's beautiful.
So, we are a family that we talk freely to each other, and
Hmm.
I think that's another thing. There's a way to speak freely to your elder without it being disrespectful,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we have my parents always told us you need to be able to speak your mind as long as it's respectful, because
Hmm.
there's some people who feel like children should be seen and not heard,
Heard. That's right.
that
That's
old
right.
thing.
Yes.
And I think that that's insane. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
that's insane. And that's why a lot of children are abused and mistreated because they don't think that they have a voice.
Yeah.
And that's something else that we as women, that is our role to teach them that you have a voice. Again, we do everything,
Yes, indeed.
you know? And I think it's important that conversations, open dialogue is something that's practiced in our community with the women, with men, with children, with our elders. I should be able to say what is on my heart and my mind and not feel judged because I'm saying it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
um, like I said, I know that we grew up a little different than most people because we were able to say whatever we wanted to say.
Mm, mm.
We were able to. My father made sure that we were able to express ourselves, like I said, in a respectful way, but we were able to get whatever's going on out of our system.
Right.
You know, so I think that that's very, very important. And we have made it to that time where
Oh
we're
my goodness.
again a little bit over an hour,
Yeah.
but this was an
No, good
excellent
discussion.
conversation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll have more. If you all want to hear something from us, you want to have some, if there's something that you think we should discuss, please let us know in the comments, and we'll go ahead and we'll work on that show. But I think that I'm again, this is one of our better shows. I probably say that
Yes, it's
every
good.
show.
Yeah, they're all good. I
They're
mean, great
also
topics. Great topics.
absolutely peace underrated. How are you?
Hey, peace underrated.
But I want to say thank you all for hanging out with us and listening to us. And again, if you have any topics that you want to hear from us, just let me know, and we'll go ahead and get that show going for you. I want to take this time to thank my beautiful, amazing sister Helena
Thank you,
for
beautiful sister
co-hosting with
Saleema.
me.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And we'll have some other amazing topics coming up, and we'll see you again. You have a great evening.
Peace,
Peace.
everyone.